Hello again. Today I'm here to talk about the Border Patrol and its abuses. Unlike the police, but very similar to the police, but this is another agency who also likes to abuse people. This is about a young girl, a 21-year-old girl, who is about to graduate, I believe it's next week, with a degree in criminal justice from college. Apparently she had wanted to become a Border Patrol agent. It's ironic, but apparently she wanted to become a Border Patrol agent after she graduated next week. That was at least one of her aspirations. But I think she might have a change of her mind after the incident that happened the other day. She was at a Border Patrol checkpoint, and I'm not sure if this is a border crossing checkpoint, although it doesn't look like it in the video. It looks like it's one of the secondary checkpoints that's inland from the border, and they can have those set up anywhere at any time. It's kind of like a DUI checkpoint where they're there today but gone tomorrow. Or it could have been one of the fixed checkpoints that are inland from the border. You know, that's what it looks like to me. It's one of those inland checkpoints where she wasn't crossing any border. But again, I'm not sure about that. I'm just guessing from the video I saw. But anyway, it doesn't really matter that. She was pulled into a secondary checkpoint as she went through the checkpoint. They wanted to do a secondary check on her vehicle, you know, and they wanted her to open her trunk up, which she's not required to do, and she knows the laws, and she just is going to be graduating from college, so I assume she knows a little bit about the law. And as far as I know, you don't have to ever consent to a search with any law enforcement unless they have a reasonable suspicion that maybe a crime has been committed and they're doing an investigation. That would be the only reason they can forcefully have you open up your car for a search. They do it all the time anyway without no subpoenas or suspicions, but technically they're not supposed to ever search your vehicle if you don't consent. So anyway, she wanted to know why is she being detained and asked to have her car searched, and they didn't give her a reason. They only said, "No, you look nervous," which is a tactic all these law enforcement officers do. If they don't have a real reason, but they still want to harass you or check you out or find something wrong with you, they always say, "Oh, you look nervous," or "Why are you shaking?" They'll say that. You know, that's another thing they do. You're shaking. But in her case, they said, "You look nervous. That's why we're pulling you over into the secondary checkpoint to check your car out." And they told her, "You're free to go or walk down the street or wait in your car, but your car can't leave. We're going to check your car." Okay, but she was outside her car, I guess in front of it, right in front of it. But they didn't like her being that close to the car, and they told her to get out of there, to basically walk down the street or get back in her car. You know, and she didn't have to. She said, "No, I'm not going to do it. Just go do what you're going to do." I guess she was allowing them to come with the dog, which is what they wanted. They wanted her to wait while a dog came to smell her car, I guess, because they assumed she had drugs, but it doesn't. I don't believe it. You know, they make up all kinds of stories, these guys. Just because they got a badge on or a uniform doesn't mean they're being entirely honest with you or their superiors or the media. You know, more of a chance they're lying through their teeth. You know, but anyway, they wound up tasing this poor woman because she didn't move from her car. She didn't move a few steps away from her car, which is what they had asked. That she move a few steps away, and it was just to harass her because she wasn't in their way. She wasn't impeding on their investigation at all. If you watch the video, you'll see. and I hope everybody goes and watches this video, because it's really disturbing the way they treat citizens of this country. And actually, that's the reason I do this thing. I stay up late at night and make these videos, give my opinions on what I think of these crooked law enforcement agencies, because I don't believe in this type of abuse that I see all the time anymore in the videos. But back before they had video cameras, I was also abused by the police, and that's why I have a pet peeve about police abuse. And I really don't like any type of abuse by any entity, whether it be the police or anyone else. I don't like abuse. I'm a fair person, and I expect everyone else to be fair too. But the law enforcement community seems to be the biggest breakers of people's rights and abuses. So that's why I do this. And I want to show you a picture too of this Border Patrol agent here. He's one of the agents that abused this poor woman. 21-year-old Jess Cook is the young girl's name that was tasered and abused and beat and arrested and handcuffed and taken to jail for no reason at all, just so they can get their nuts off, maybe. Well, I guess the one girl didn't have nuts, but there was another girl, a woman I should say, who was a Border Patrol agent with this guy. But this guy's a supervisor, so I want to really highlight him. He stated he was a supervisor there at this border checkpoint. Take a good look at this guy, because he's the reason I do this. If it wasn't for guys like him, I'd be sleeping right now. But this guy's the reason. But they decided to taser this poor girl, and you can hear her screaming in pain with the taser, and they're probably kneeling her in the back, I assume, you know, and handcuffing her and all the stuff you usually see the cops do. It was off camera though. The tasering part was off camera, but you know she was tased, you know, and probably beaten. She states she has injuries, so I assume I'm going to call it beating. But beaten and abused is what I call it. You know, I'm going to write this down here so you can see. Woman abuser. Woman abuser. That's what you are. Woman abuser. I don't know if I spelled this right, but I call her, he's a liar too. He's a liar. You know, we'll spell it both ways. Okay, you know, I didn't have time to look this up on the dictionary. Either way, he's a liar. Use either spelling you'd like. Liar. Liar. I can't stress this enough. I'm not a nutcase, but this guy here is the reason I do this, and probably the reason that you watch these videos. This guy needs to go. Not for a little suspension, not a slap on the wrist. You need to leave the Border Patrol, like now. Watch the video and you'll see why I feel this way. Get a real good look at him. You need to take another job somewhere, or maybe you should leave the country. How about we put that down? Leave the country. Leave the country, because apparently you don't like the laws and the rights that people are given here. So maybe you could find another country to go to where you'll be better suited. You know, this guy really pisses me off. But you really need to watch the video to see the treatment this young woman got. You know, and I'm sure it happens a lot too. I've had a few incidents with the Border Patrol myself, and maybe I'll talk about them someday. But I've had some incidents with the Border Patrol too. You know, I wasn't quite as angry back then, you know, but they've harassed me too. I used to live near the border, so I kind of know what they do. I cross the border a lot of times. But I want to read this. This Jess Cook, that's the young girl that was assaulted. She made a posting on Facebook, so I want to read this to you. You know, that will best describe what happened to her. And I know how to read, but I might have a little trouble reading this because the print is really small, and I can't see as good as I used to. So I'm going to try to read this. The print's really small, so it's not that I can't read, it's just that I can't see. Okay, this is from Jess Cook, you know, it's on her Facebook posting. Okay. This is what happens when you stand up for your rights against the U.S. Border Patrol. When they want to check in your trunk without a warrant for no reason whatsoever. And she stressed that, without a warrant for no reason whatsoever! Exclamation points. Yes, I could have opened it, but I didn't have to. And I agree with her 100%. There's no good reason that she had to open it. Open her trunk, that is. So she's not going to open it, and they couldn't give her a reason. They just said, oh, you look nervous. But if you look at her in the video, or listen to her in the video, she's not nervous at all. She knows what she's doing. She wasn't nervous. They just make that lie up every single time. You're nervous, or you're shaking, or they went for something in your pocket. I just saw a posting on the internet that someone got shot because they reached for an ID that the police asked for. I didn't read the story. I'm going to go into that one probably for tomorrow. But apparently someone got shot, or I don't know if he got killed or just shot, because he reached for the ID that the police asked for. And then they shoot you. Oh, we thought he was going to get a gun or something. They make up some shit-ass excuse. But anyway, let me read this to you. I could have opened it, but I didn't have to. This is me today. So she must have injuries that she's showing. This is me today. They held me against my will until the K9 unit came to check out my car. I tried to see what was going on after I had to pull over and wait. A man pushed me and then threw me to the ground, while a woman stood there and tased me until I stopped screaming. And she's really screaming too. You know, she has a reason to scream, that fucking taser. You know. Okay. Then they cuffed and arrested me and put me in the Border Patrol car, while they illegally opened my whole car and trunk and searched it. And that's a legal search too. It's illegal. She did not allow them to search it. And she stresses that the search was illegal. They had no warrant and no reason to search it. Oh, and in the end, this is her words. Oh, and in the end, the fucking K9 unit found nothing in my car. Now they are trying to put charges on me federally for assaulting an officer when I did it in self-defense after he pushed me. Well, it's normal. This big bully comes up and pushes a young girl. Maybe she's just trying to defend herself and maybe pushed him back or put her hands up or whatever, but he had no reason to touch her. And we see in the video that he was the instigator, not her. You know, post this everywhere, people. That's what she's asking from this posting. Post this everywhere, people. I mean it. I'm putting it everywhere. I'm not telling them get away with this. I'm not letting them get away with this. You should see my injuries. You know, and it's hard for me to explain just how much this angers me. But if you watch the video, you'll see, and it's just the pure abuse. Oh, and I want to say, that she called them an asshole in the video after they tasered her. So let me add this to it. You know, I just have to do this. Here. And here. So I think I'll call him the same thing that she called him. Asshole. Asshole. I agree with her. He looks like an asshole in the way he treated her. You know, I just wish I had his name. Maybe it'll come out. But if you ever see this guy, he's on the New York border somewhere, checking vehicles and harassing motorists. You know, let him know. Tell him to watch this video. You know, if you see him. Hopefully he'll be gone, and we won't have to worry about him no more. But this guy's a supervisor, and if his supervisor is anything like him, they'll probably tell him to take a little vacation for a few days. Good job, all right, good job, and then he'll get a promotion probably. But let's hope not. Hope I'm wrong. You know. All right. Until next time. Good night.